Hey, movie lovers, this is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Pod Nation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history and, of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Pod Nation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Pod Nation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/podnationpods.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation with films and fermentation, comedy mixed with taste elevation. Films and fermentation with Leo, Kevman, and Mike.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Films and Fermentation Podcast, episode 190. There's no crying in podcasting. Tonight, we're doing a deep dive into a baseball classic. Since baseball season has just started, we're looking at A League of Their Own. That's right.
We are the members of the All-American team.
Far and wide. We got Canadians. I'm
glad we all know that song.
That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, #1 pop culture podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced and singing theme songs. In this episode,
this used to be my playground. Used to be.
This used to be my childhood dream. In this episode, we're sliding headfirst into the 1992 baseball classic, A League of Their Own. The movie that proved women can hit, pitch, and steal scenes better than most major leaguers. It gave us iconic quotes, tear-jerking moments, and Tom Hanks at peak grumpy. So grab your peanuts, Cracker Jack, and maybe a nice cold brew, because we're revisiting the Rockford Peaches and their cinematic home run. Batters up, folks. There's no crying in podcasting.
It also gave us probably the longest piss scene ever.
I have a trivia fact about that for later in the show. I don't know. I think it has some tight competition from Ogre and Revenge of the Nerds Part 2.
Yeah.
Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. You can find us now on the Pod Nation Media Network app on Roku. We are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members only content. That's right. For a $1 donation, Mike will tell you to avoid the clap.
It's good advice.
Go to Patreon. Avoid the clap, Michael Bradley. Go to patreon.com/filmsandfermentation or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com. You can now text us at 904-867-4466. I would like to give one more thank you shout out to our good friend Cthulhu Jack, who joined us on last week's episode to talk about 80s cult films. I have to contact Jack because I just watched one the other night that would have been a good one on the list. 1988's Lair of the White Worm with Hugh Grant.
Was it 1984's 1982?
No. That's 1982 from 1984. So, what are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I am drinking something that they call a Jimmy Dugan.
Ooh, okay.
Basically, it's a whiskey sour with grenadine.
All right.
Because it makes
Nice.
it a peach-looking color.
Rockford
That's
Peach.
cool. Rockford Peach. Nice little theme. I cheated on the theme drink tonight. I was like, we're talking about baseball. What goes better with baseball than beer? So I'm just drinking beer. So I got the Hagerweiss Hefeweizen from Antietam Brewery, which I believe my friend Mike got me.
Yes, sir.
And it is 5.3% alcohol by volume. Very smooth. And when I finish that, I have a second beer. I have a Hagerweiss Hefeweizen from Antietam Brewery.
Clean up your beer, huh?
Cleaning up the beer. What do you got there, Kev?
So, our listeners may know that we are in the tri-state area between Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. And the weather lately during this baseball season has been, well, let's say temperamental, to say the least. So I have two beers which kind of go with the weather. I am drinking a Sam Adams Cold Snap, and that'll be chased with a Sam Adams Summer Ale.
Awesome. That's a nice combo there. We go from cold to warm.
Cold to warm.
Cold to warm. I like both of those beers. They're both excellent choices. And yes, for anybody who's wondering how crazy the weather has been in the tri-state area this week, every day this week I've gotten in my car in the morning and turned the heat on high because it's freezing. And every day when I leave school at 3:30 to 4 o'clock p.m., I turn the air conditioner on because it's now 90 degrees in my car.
Yes, but it's still only like 50 degrees outside.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to Mike's segment.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
All right, sir.
In 1955, Marty, directed by Delbert Mann and starring Ernest Borgnine and Betsy Blair, premieres in New York. Best Picture, 1956.
Also won Best Actor for Ernest Borgnine. It was one of those like movies that nobody expected to win anything and won everything. Never seen it. I don't know anything about it. So.
No.
No, I know it's like a comedy, but that's about all I know. Mike, what's the next one you got there?
1957, 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet, starring Henry Fonda and Lee J. Cobb, is released.
I have seen this one.
Followed shortly by 12 Angry Women.
Yeah.
Which
It's just a regular Friday night. What's the next one you got there, sir?
1973, Paper Moon, film starring Ryan O'Neal and his daughter, Tatum O'Neal, directed by Peter
Bogdanovich.
Premieres in Hollywood, California. Tatum O'Neal becomes the youngest at age 10 Academy Award winner for supporting actress.
It's a funny thing about this is Ryan O'Neal never won an Oscar in his career, but his 10-year-old daughter won it for being in a movie with him, a starring vehicle for him.
On her first go, right? That was her
first go. It was her first film. She did Bad News Bears after this. I looked it up too because I was wondering because I knew Anna Paquin won the Oscar very, very young as well. And I thought she might have beaten it, but she was late by a year. She won it for the piano at 11 years old.
Yep.
The youngest actor to win a Best Actor award is Adrian Brody, who won Best Actor for The Pianist at 29 years old. That's the youngest man to win an Oscar for like Best Actor. For Best Supporting Actor, it was Timothy Hutton at 20 years old for Ordinary People. And Best Lead Actress at 20 years old was Marlee Matlin for Children of a Lesser God.
Oh.
I think that's one kind of is a cheat because she's a deaf woman playing a deaf woman. All right, so what's the next one?
1976, All the President's Men, directed by Alan P. Pakula, based on a nonfiction book by journalists Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward, detailing their Watergate investigation, starring Dustin Hoffman. Robert Redford is released.
It's another good movie
Yep. Deep Throat.
based on true events. Deep Throat, yeah, the whole Nixon scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, sir.
1984, 56th Academy Awards. Linda Hunt becomes the first person to win an Oscar for portraying a character of the opposite sex. Billy Kwan in The Year of the Living Dead in 1982.
I know nothing about this film, have never seen it, so that fact was new to me.
Yeah.
I might have to like.
I was looking this stuff while I was watching NCIS LA. Like, okay, I need to put that on there.
Yeah, she's in that, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's in. She's in NCIS.
It's like, I see this. She's on the screen. I have to put it on there. It's just serendipitous.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I know her as the principal in Kindergarten Cop.
Yes. She is. She is the not the voice, but the model for Edna Mode.
For Edna Mode, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next one's about this is a really good little indie film.
Yeah. I mean, it barely made any money, but 2012, The Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon, starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, and Jeremy Renner, premieres in Los Angeles, California.
When they put this on cable, I'm very happy that they specify it's Marvel's The Avengers because there have been too many times where I click on it, think I'm going to watch it, and I got Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman, I think, was the other role in it, and Sean Connery for The Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was listening to something the other day. I was listening to a podcast, but I don't remember which one. And they were talking about Ray Fiennes. He was offered a role. They were talking about Val Kilmer passing away, and something about how Val Kilmer did Batman, but he wasn't happy with it, so he didn't do it again. Blah blah blah. And then he did The Saint not too long after that. But Ray Fiennes was originally offered the role of The Saint.
Oh.
Really?
And he turned it down because he thought that doing a movie based on a TV show was kind of like beneath him. And then cut to 10 years later, he does the fucking Avengers with Uma Thurman. Which just goes to show you if there's enough zeros on the paycheck.
Yeah.
Next one you got there, sir.
2014, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, directed by Mark Webb, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, premieres in London.
Did he just get the job because his last name was Webb?
I was going to say, I find it ironic that the director of Spider-Man's name is Webb.
I didn't
Maybe
mind
he should direct Madam Web.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been better.
I didn't mind The Amazing Spider-Man. I did not like The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I think it was a little... So the first one was pretty good. That was the one with the lizard was the villain.
Yeah.
The second one wasn't bad. I thought Jamie Foxx was better when he becomes Electro than he was before becoming Electro, because it was just felt like over the top performance. Yeah.
But I hate the constant changes to Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
The new Goblin in Spider-Man 3, then Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Well,
this Amazing Spider-Man 2 felt like the same problem that Spider-Man 3 had, the Sam Raimi one, that they were just trying to shove all these villains into it.
Yeah. I after watching Spider-Man, that most of that series, I'm like, why are we rebooting this again?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the Amazing Spider-Mans at all.
No, it's one of the things I love about the Tom Holland Spider-Man is they never did an origin story.
Exactly. That's what made that one
Yeah,
unique.
and I feel, and Jack said this on the pod last week, how like so many of these reboots and remakes feel the need to go into the origin story when you don't have to. Everybody knows the origin stories at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly,
I'm actually excited to see the James Gunn Superman.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. And it doesn't look like an origin story.
Yep. No, I
What were you
what
gonna-
I liked in Homecoming, I guess it was that it's just touched on. Like it's not even an origin story. He's talking to Ned, and it's just like, no, it was an accident. Just and that's the duration of the origin story. It's just something happened. That was it. There was no
Even in I think it's Civil War when Tony Stark visits him for the first time. And he shows them like videos. Oh, so this isn't you in this suit flying around the city or whatever. Like that's the most you get in backstory. Like that's but it works. I think it works.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Marvel,
19. Jesus Christ.
1917.
Hey, these have I had already. In 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, directed by James Gunn, and starring Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana. Premieres in Tokyo, Japan.
I think Guardians Volume 2 is the worst of the three films.
Huh.
But it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. No, I didn't say that at all. I just said that was the worst of the three films.
Of the three films. Okay.
I would rank the first one number one. I love the first one. And the third one was really good. Third one was really good, very emotional.
The second one did give you, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, the best part of the second one was Mooka Rooker.
And Mantis. I like the addition of Mantis as a character.
Yeah.
She's good comedic support. Her and Drax.
Her and Drax are great. Everything with Michael Rooker in the second film is the best part of the movie. His like revenge spree after he gets the iconic fin on his head, and Mary Poppins y'all sacrificing himself to save Star-Lord, all that stuff. Like his scenes are the best. Okay. I was going to skip my segment tonight, but then I read something earlier that I had to share because I know Kevin will like this one.
Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates Leo.
So I read this earlier today that Mike Flanagan, award-winning writer of Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, and Fall of House of Usher, is jumping from Netflix to Amazon Prime to be the writer, director, and showrunner of a new series based on Stephen King's Carrie. And this is, of course, the novel by Stephen King and also a twice-made film, once with Sissy Spacek and a remake with Chloe Grace Moretz that we shouldn't talk about ever. And I'm excited about this because I think, it'll be cool to see the full novel adapted into prestige TV.
I think the combination of Mike Flanagan and Stephen King is just going to blow my mind.
Like, like the combination of Mike Flanagan and Edgar Allan Poe is amazing.
Exactly. I mean, that whole series was just mind blowing. I was like, oh my god.
That series was amazing.
So well
and like
done.
I put it off for so long, and you kept telling me to watch it, and then when I watched it, I was like, man, I shouldn't have put this off for so long. So good. And Midnight Mass is amazing as well. I like Midnight Mass a lot.
Midnight Mass was really good.
I haven't got through Haunting a Hill House yet. It still freaks me out too much.
So good. And
I'm sure it is. It's one of the scariest things I've ever watched, and I've only watched like 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I'll get
of his, I think he did Midnight with Teen. No, I can't remember what it was. There's another one. It's a small.
There's like Bly Manor or something like that.
Well, Bly Manor was really good, but he did one with like teenagers in like a hospice house of some sort, and that was also really good. Not as good as his other stuff, but it was also really good.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
I don't know when it's
exciting.
coming
Did
out.
they have a? Yeah, I was going to ask.
It didn't say. It just said that he has signed a contract with Amazon Prime to write and direct the Carrie series, but it didn't give like a date for release because I don't think they started filming yet. So,
okay.
But I will update you as I find out more because I'm excited about it too.
Yes.
Mike, you have any must-try beer craft destination for us this evening?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Oh no!
What happened
okay.
is I didn't realize the calendar had finished those. I have fun facts, but don't
Okay.
worry. Next week I will pull out the book that I got right here. The 1001 beers you must try before you die.
All right.
There you go.
We'll count down how many of them we've actually tried already.
This will take over that segment.
All right. That sounds good. So moving on then.
Kevin's here, he's here for beer. He's got news, it's beer news with Kevin. Kevin.
What was the last concert you guys went to?
The last
Last
one I
one-
went to,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, it would have been right after 9/11 with XTU, and
Jesus.
I don't go to a lot of concerts. Hey, I'm going to one this year.
I'm
Are
sitting
you?
here thinking, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I think I haven't been to a concert in maybe like a year or two. Mike hasn't been there since almost the last century.
I mean, I went to a show, but it was at the Keswick Theater, which it's a very small venue, so I consider that a show, not so much of a concert. You have to have over 100 people to count it as a concert. Well, if you haven't gone to a concert, maybe you've been keeping up in the news where a new trend of throwing things at the performer while they're performing on stage has taken place. Cell phone or an album or a shirt or whatever it is.
You should be bras back in the day.
It used to be wrong. Well, not anymore. Anymore, it's hard objects, and it's really unfortunate for the artist. So speaking of which, country singer stops his concert to call out fans for throwing beer cans on stage. Chase You Down singer Braxton Keith stopped his performance in Gilmer, Texas, to call out unruly fans at his concert. During his show, Keith, who's 23, was interrupted by the antics of a few rowdy concertgoers who threw beer cans at Keith and his band as they performed Honky Tonk City. Instead of letting the chaos ruin the vibe, he took control of the situation. Hey, listen up. Pause this shit, Keith was seen shouting in a video he shared to TikTok. I didn't come here to get beer cans thrown at me, all right? This isn't a goddamn Gavin Attic concert, okay? I don't know who that is. The Chase You Down crooner referred to his fellow country artist who's known for throwing drinks at his concerts. Well, there you go. Don't be throwing these fucking beers out here, Keith continued to scold his fans as he stopped his performance. These people at the front are getting wet up here, and it's going to piss them off, and it's going to piss me off. The singer confronted the crowd and pointed out a young fan who was attending her first country show. This little girl right here has never been to a country concert before, and it's her first damn time, okay? We're going to have a good show for her, okay? The rowdy audience was heard cheering in the background after Keith's announcement. When the cozy singer shared the concert disruption on TikTok, he wrote text over his video that read, "Embarrassing behavior and poor concert etiquette on display in 2025. The caption read, "This is an unacceptable behavior for any concert, including my brother Gavin Attic music. Nobody likes beer and trash being thrown at them. I love live music." Sorry. And when given the opportunity to speak up for the unruliness in the concert community, I will protect my audience, band, crew, and equipment, and most importantly, the integrity of the live performance experience. Keith isn't the first country star to stop a concert over disruptive crowd. We're all out here. I'm sorry. Last month, we don't fight anymore. Singer Carly Pearce was seen confronting angry fans in a video during a performance at the O2 Academy, Birmingham, in the United Kingdom. We're all here to have a good night. You know what I mean. We're all friends at my shows, Pearce said as she paused the concert to address fans who broke out into a fight. Girl, I am sick and I ain't got time for it, okay? She continued, I love you. I'm just saying, please don't make everybody everybody around you angry, okay? According to the fan who captured the heated moment, the two fans then stopped fighting, and following the singer's respectful and very professional remarks, were asked to leave. Later in the video, fans were heard chanting Pierce's name. The country star was given a thumbs up as she waved at the angry fans being escorted out. Ain't nobody got time for that, Pierce concluded. So, when you're at a concert, just don't throw things at the performers. Or, better yet, wait 25 years before somebody asks you if you've seen a concert. And then you don't have to worry.
Has it been 25 years?
In going back to the first part of that article, if you're doing a concert in a town called Gilmer, I think you should expect it. Gilmer, Texas.
Gilmer, Texas.
So I was trying to think. The last concert I went to was either Carrie Underwood or Brothers Osborne at the Man. I can't remember which one was the last one I did.
I'm gonna go see. Oh Jesus!
Oh, you're going to see Jesus?
Yeah, I'm gonna go
live.
His favorite movie, Dumb and Dumber.
I'm gonna go see George Strait in May. He's up here.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I think the last show I saw was Bare Naked Ladies back in 2014. It might have been.
I was with you.
Yeah, you were. That was
saw them down in Maryland.
You wasn't too far after mine.
Yeah. So basically, I've been the most recent one to see a Mike. We can kind of count WrestleMania. It was a 2-night festival.
They got
yeah. Speaking of the second article you got on here, Kev, I'm reading the headline right now, and I don't understand anything I read.
Well, we're keeping booze and music together. So Miller High Life is releasing vinyl records featuring dive bar sounds, and it's infused with beer. So here's the deal. What Wisconsinite needs is a white noise machine when they could fall asleep to a familiar sound of a good old dive bar. Miller High Life is releasing Dive Bar Sounds, a limited edition beer-infused vinyl record. Yes, it is made with the champagne of beers inside, with 7 original tracks featuring dive bar sounds, according to a news release. Can I play it? Oh, I don't think I can. Oh, I wish I could play this for you guys. There is on the website they have, here's a sample. Sampling of the vinyl tracks and their description. Oh, okay. So, Welcome to the Dive is an upbeat rhythm built for the percussive.
I love this bar.
Built with the percussive sounds of pool ball, a subtle note of the classic high life jingle woven throughout, capturing the energy of game night at your favorite bar.
Wait. So it's actual dive bar sounds. I thought it was like songs that were like dive bar popular songs.
This bar.
Yeah, like Captain Jack from like Billy Joel or something. No, it's let's listen to 5 minutes of pool balls being smacked together.
There's the regular mix, a laid-back track where the familiar murmur of regulars and clinking High Life bottles create the soundtrack to Perfect Night at the Bar. There's the Champagne Nights, an ambient sound led by the signature hiss of the champagne of beers being opened and the effervescent dance of bubbles rising to the top. And the Last Call Symphony, a lo-fi melody featuring the hum of High Life, neon signs, and a closing time bell that feels like your final waltz out of the dive bar. So it's essentially from happy hour all the way to last call.
They missed an opportunity to end it with closing time.
Where'd you find this?
Closing time.
The announcement comes just in time for the Record Store Day on Saturday. The vinyl is serving off as a kickoff to the soundtrack of the High Life, a new year-long music platform that will feature a range of music experiences, including the sponsorship of Teddy Swim's 2025 North American tour. More info is upcoming on the soundtrack to High Life announcements and will be shared on millerhighlife.com/soundtracks or on Instagram at MillerHighlife. how to buy it. A limited quantity of 5 sounds will be available at the millerhighlife.com/dive bar sounds for pre-order over multiple days. Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The vinyl costs $18, and buyers have to be at least 21 years old.
I can see it now. My wife won't let me go to the bar, so I have to listen to this.
Sitting in your living room, drinking alone, listening to dive bar sounds.
This is
Because your wife will let you go to the bar.
This is going to be bought by the same people who buy Billy Big Bass, the fish that would sing to you, take me to the water, put me in the river.
All I have to ask you is,
damn, son, where'd you find this?
Google.
I was going to say.
Well, now that is some fucked up shit.
All right. We are going to take a quick break so we can hear these quick messages from our friends Kevin and Jason at the KJ&A podcast. And then we'll be back with our main segment, a deep dive into the baseball classic, A League of Their Own.
Hey, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jay from the KJ&A podcast.
Join us each week where we discuss comics, movies, anime, video games, and current events.
Basically anything to make you laugh and have a good time with all the tangents.
You can find us on Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, Thread, Patreon, and all the things at KJ&A Podcast.
Gonna need to take it down a notch, about 20% there, Kevin.
And if you get that reference, you can be our friend.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us after that quick word from the KJ&A podcast. As I've said in the beginning of the show, tonight we're doing a deep dive into one of our favorite baseball movies in honor of the beginning of baseball season, 1992's A League of Their Own. So I put down here some stats. The movie has a 7.4 IMDb rating out of 10 stars, an 82% critic score, and an 84% viewer score on Rotten Tomatoes. Very rare that you see two scores so close together.
But they all seem very low for that movie.
I agree. I was just thinking the same thing. Like, I feel like the viewer score The critic score doesn't shock me too much, but I feel like the viewer score should be a little higher.
And the
IMDb.
Yeah.
So I went on Rotten Tomatoes and looked up some reviews of A League of Their Own. So I have a positive review from a viewer and a critic, and a negative review from a viewer and a critic. So we get a little bit of both. So here is the positive review from Troy M., who wrote this review on January 19th, 2025. So this is a viewer review and a positive one. The cast, the comedy, the heart, and the soul. This movie has it all. Without the requirement of being a sports lover, I still love this movie. As a kid and now, I cherish it as an adult. The lovable, charismatic Gina Davis and reliable Tom Hanks anchor this movie in an endlessly rewatchable classic. I agree. Vincent Canby of the New York Times, so this is your positive reviewer, one of the year's most cheerful, most relaxed, most enjoyable comedies. It's a serious film that's lighter than air, a very funny movie that manages to score a few points for feminism in passing. So that was kind of written, I believe, around the time the film came out, by the way. It says one of the year's best.
Yes.
Now it's time for the negative.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'm gonna do the professional review first because it's short. Variety magazine wrote back in 2008, hits about 250 with a few RBIs, but more than its share of strikeouts.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody on that movie shit in their gym bag. Now, here is the viewer negative review from Rotten Tomatoes. Dave S. wrote on September 29th, 2020. I kind of feel that he was probably just a little pissed off about the quarantine at that point. While the story of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League is interesting enough on its own merit, Penny Marshall's A League of Their Own tends to play more like an extended sitcom rather than a film about the sisterhood of baseball players at a time during World War II, when women step forward to assume roles generally associated with men. A League of Their Own leans toward the episodic, as most scenes in the middle of the film could be juxtaposed with others, and there would be no discernible difference in the end product. The comedy isn't all that funny, and the drama seems disingenuous due to the lack of character development, which isn't surprising considering the number of characters. The movie is much longer than it needs to be, thanks to seemingly endless baseball montages, and the fact that over the last 30 minutes, there are 4 of 5 points where the film could have come to a satisfying conclusion. Instead, it drags out until the mushy final scenes.
You know what I got to say to that?
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dave S. Yeah, he was just pissed off that he was still sitting at home.
No, he
Nothing to do.
All I could find to watch was A League of Their Own that day.
All you can find to watch is A League of Their Own. Anyway, the budget for this film was an estimated $40 million. I believe $35 million of that was Madonna. And it made an estimated domestic gross of $107 million and a worldwide gross of $132 million plus. So it made its money back. Cast and crew of the film, of course, as we said before, it stars Gina Davis as Dottie Henson, Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan, Lori Petty as Kit Keller, Madonna as All the Way May Morbido, Rosie O'Donnell as Doris Murphy, Megan Cavanaugh as Marla Hooch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A large cast of characters, but those are like the most named ones, I would say.
Yeah.
Your IMDb synopsis.
Oh.
During World War II, sisters Dottie and Kit joined the first female professional baseball league and struggled to help it succeed amid their own growing rivalry. Actually, not a bad review. Bad summary, given the IMDb summary. But, of course, I had to write a summary of my own, which I shared with you, gentlemen. So feel free to add your own comments in here as I read through it, or tell me if I missed anything. Let's begin. It's World War II, and while the men are off fighting, someone has to keep America entertained. Cue baseball. Enter the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. because who says women can't hit a curveball? Dottie Hinson, played by Gina Davis, queen of calm and catcher extraordinaire, is recruited because she's basically baseball's Barbie. Kit Keller, played by Lori Petty, Dottie's younger sister, is recruited too because sibling rivalry never takes a day off. This segment of the film features a gold standard cameo from John Lovitz. Possibly like one of my favorite parts of the movie is the whole John Lovitz recruiting stuff. Because he gets some great lines like, the train moves. Train moves, not the station.
Doesn't that hurt? Doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I'd be hell sore. I'd be sore after that. What's the one? My favorite line is when he's leaving her, like, "You're not staying?" He's like, "No, I'm going home. I'm going to have a shave and a shower, give the wife a little pickle tickle."
What's he say about Mooch?
Marla Hooch.
Yeah. Have you seen? What's wrong with her? Have you seen? Who does he make reference to?
He makes reference to a military person. It's like Colonel somebody or another.
Yeah, too close a
resemblance. No, his facial reaction. I mean, I know this is visual a gag, but yeah, he goes.
I love the part where they're taking the pictures of the girl and hers is all the way out.
Yeah, I have that in here. We're getting to it. Here we go. Dottie doesn't even want to play. She's just that good. Kit, on the other hand, would sell her soul for a batting average. They end up on the Rockford Peaches, one of 4 teams. 4 teams. Charm and beauty school because a lady reveals nothing.
Doing the splits while she catches the ball.
Yeah. And then, sudden Tia Leone, who shows up during the beauty school segment and then makes another cameo later in the film. Enter Jimmy Dugan, played by Tom Hanks, a washed-up former star turned manager who drinks more than he speaks. But when he does speak, magic. There's no crying in baseball becomes the film's unofficial motto and a phrase screamed by coaches everywhere for the next 3 decades. The league struggles to draw a crowd because apparently 1940s America isn't ready for badass women in cleats. So the ladies spice things up, catching foul balls while doing splits, playing in skirts because chafing is patriotic, and still crushing it. Dottie becomes the poster girl of the league despite still not really wanting to be there. Kit, fueled by frustration and sibling inferiority, throws enough tantrums to power a small city. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is a delightful mix of weirdos, tomboys, charmers, and scene stealers. You have May, played by Madonna, who teaches her teammates how to read, because when she's not vamping it up, she's wholesome like that. I mean, she's teaching them how to read pornography, but still, it's teaching them. And it's Madonna. Doris, played by Rosie O'Donnell, brings heat, sass, and the kind of tough love friendship you didn't know you needed. Marla Hooch, what a hitter. Kit gets traded to another team after one too many emotional meltdowns and one epic sister fight. Cut to one of the saddest scenes in movie history when Betty Spaghetti learns of the death of her husband, Georgie. Man, that scene crushes me every time.
Yeah.
And when we see the trivia fact for that scene later on, it's going to crush you even more. Dottie quits baseball when her husband returns from the war because that Bill Pullman D is greater than championship glory.
Tonight's our Independence Night.
Arguably the best monologue in the film comes next when she says, "I quit because it's just got too hard." And he says, "If it was easy, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great." I love that speech. That's right after the avoid the clap. Jimmy Dugan. After a change of heart, Dottie drives all the way back to the World Series just in time for Game 7, something I believe is illegal in baseball. Just walk on the field and join the team at Game 7 after you quit. The big game, Peaches versus the Racine Bells. Kit's new team, of course. Tension, emotion, slow motion plays, excitement. In a dramatic slide at home plate, Kit literally knocks the game out of Dottie's hands and wins a championship.
Or
Hot
did she
take.
drop it on purpose?
Dottie dropped it on purpose so Kit could have her moment of glory. That's my hot take. I believe she did it on
I
purpose.
think you did too.
I don't think so. Dottie didn't give a shit about Kit. Dottie just drove 12 hours to get to the game. She's tired.
Everyone parts ways. Their place is cemented in history until we get the modern day reunion that hits you right in the feels. Elderly teammates, most of them played by real women who played in the All-American Girls League, reunite at the Baseball Hall of Fame, proving that time may pass, but legends never age. Tears are shed, proving that sometimes crying is okay in baseball. The end. Final score. What's that?
5 stars.
Final score: feminism 1, sexism 0.
Whoever they got to play old Dottie did a great job of sounding, looking and sounding like Gina Davis.
Well, it's Gina Davis's voice. She's doing a voiceover for the character, but the actress is not her. Like, that's an actress who looks just like Gina. Same thing with Lori Petty's.
Yeah.
The one that plays Laura looks just like her too. It's amazing the actresses they found. The other older actresses, though, are all either like actual actresses or played by women who were in the actual league. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. So that was my summary. I think I got a pretty decent amount of stuff in there. I know I missed a few things, but I think we'll pick that up in the trivia and the quotes.
Miss Stewie.
Stewie.
Stewie or
what was his name? Stillwell.
Stillwell Angel.
Stillwell Angel. What? Yeah. Stillwell, come, stop it. Stillwell, here, have another piece of chocolate.
Yummy, 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 yummy.
No, that's the scene where the bus driver quits, and the woman, the chaperone comes in, and Tom Hanks kisses her, and he's like, "What's up, baby?" And then they start screaming. And he's like, "I loved you in The Wizard of Oz." Wait, why did we stop? Lou quit. Who's Lou?
Don't you recognize me? You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
He hits him with the glove. He's like, I got him. So I, on that same document I shared with you with the summary, right under it is a trivia section. The trivia was really long on IMDb, so I kind of picked a few ones that I thought were pretty good. I figured we could take turns like reading them. So I'll take the first one there. For the famous split catch, Gina Davis had to have a stunt double slide into the split. Although Davis could do the splits, as shown, she couldn't slide into it. So it is her doing a split in the scene, but the slide into it was done by a stunt woman. Who wants to take that second one there?
I'll take it. During filming of the World Series games, stars took turns entertaining the unpaid extras. Tom Hanks did puppet shows over the dugout. Rosie O'Donnell did stand-up comedy, and various actors pretended to be Madonna and sang her songs after the singer balked at performing for the fans.
Sounds about right. Yeah. From all things I read about it, like she was not easy to deal with on the set.
I am shocked.
Mike, you want to take that next one, or?
Sure. The storyline was inspired by the career of baseball legend Dottie Collins. During World War II, she played for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League and pitched 17 shutouts during her 6-year career.
Pretty long career. Yeah, well, a pretty long career because the league only lasted for 11 years.
Yeah.
So she was there for most of it. Actresses auditioning for the film had to prove that they could play baseball. All the actresses cast in the film, apart from Gina Davis, did their own stunts. None of the performers wanted stunt doubles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes me think of that brew scene.
Yeah.
That was,
we got one in there for that.
All right.
Here you go, Kev. Here's the peeing one.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Tom Hanks knew when he was going to be done peeing. Penny Marshall was in a stall with a hose and a bucket making the noise. So he just had to stand there until she was done with the bucket. Here's the one I was talking about with Betty Spaghetti. Who wants to take that one?
Go ahead, Mike.
The scene where Betty Spaghetti learns her husband died took 3 days to film.
Oh my God, that seems so devastating. Imagine having to keep doing that over and over again for 3 fucking days.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Kev, why don't you take that next one?
Yep. In the final game, Dottie criticizes Dugan for not shaving. When the game ends and Harvey gives the go-ahead for the league to continue, and the sisters are about to begin their new lives, a tiny speck of tissue on Dugan's cheek shows that he has shaved, indicating that he is also embracing the future.
I've never noticed that. It's very subtle, but it is kind of like a cool little nod. Because he does say at the end that he's going to continue to coach the girls.
When you were learning to shave, did you learn about the tissue trick? About putting like little dabs on? I learned that from The Simpsons. I don't recall my father ever pointing that out. I remember Homer teaching Bart how to shave, and he takes a sheet of tissue and he takes a little dab here, a little dab here, and then the whole thing's on his face essentially.
Yeah. I used to just bleed out until I passed out. While the film is historically correct in having the Racing Bells win the championship in the inaugural 43 season, they defeated the Kenosha Comets in 3 games, not the Rockford Peaches in 7. In fact, Rockford was the only team in the 4-team league with a winning percentage under 500, by far the worst team in the league. Eventually, though, like, they lasted 11 years, and I think eventually they went up to like 10 teams or something. So they had a pretty decent-sized league by the end. What were you going to say there, Mike?
Well, it has an easier name for people to get behind.
Yeah, Rockford Peaches. I think it was because the uniform, too. It's just iconic looking, you know. Here's the bruise one there, Kev.
The strawberry bruise Renee Coleman received on her thigh while sliding into a base remained for over a year. My God.
Ouch.
I mean, it looks bad.
It looks bad, and that was real. That was a real one.
That was pretty much purple, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, it's accurate. They were wearing those skirts to play, and a lot of it was because of the aesthetic, like, oh, you know, sexy girl, sexy skirt. Not practical when you're sliding into bases, you know? I used to get bruises playing baseball, and I was, you know, fully clothed.
Yeah. And I would get them too, but I also played in skirts. Nobody on the team wanted me to be on the team, but, you know.
You played the Scottish.
That's right. It's a kilt.
The characters at the Baseball Hall of Fame and seen playing as the credits roll are real original players from the league portrayed in the film. And we got 2 more here.
Many of the injuries and bruises in the film were real injuries that the actresses received during filming.
Yeah, and considering they did all their own stunts, it doesn't surprise me. And Cav, you got the last one there.
The movie's line, "There's no crying in baseball," was voted as the number 54 movie quote in the American Film by the American Film Institute out of 100.
Seems low.
Seems low.
Yeah, seems low.
Now, the next thing I have on our outline here for tonight are the 19 best quotes from the classic baseball movie A League of Their Own. And a lot of these are quotes that kind of include like the next setup for the next joke, which I really like, because the no crying in baseball one leads to probably my favorite line in the entire film. So I'll tell you what it is when we get to it. So number 19 is, "I could certainly use the money." And it's, you know, after he gets chided for scratching his balls for an hour and spits the tobacco on Ira's shoes, and he's like, if we paid you a little bit more money, Jimmy, could you be even more disgusting? And he's like, I could sure use the money. Here's the line you said, Kev. It's the milking the cow scene. Doesn't that hurt them? Doesn't seem to. Well, it bruised the hell out of me. I think
his entire performance is spot on.
Good.
Yeah.
So you know what? I didn't do a recasting for him in the movie. That's something we're gonna have to work on, because I did not do a recasting for him. I just realized that. This is the guy calling the game, who is actually played by Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley. He says, "I have seen enough to know I have seen too much." And that's when they win the game. Talking to Stillwell Angel when he's running around the bus, and May starts chasing him with the bat. Doris says, "Here, use Marla's. It's heavier." Look out, Mr. Hitler. The Yanks are coming.
It's from one of the newsreels, right?
From one of the newsreels, yeah. It says baseball's biggest stars say, "Look out, Mr. Hitler! The Yanks are coming." Not to mention the Indians, Red Sox, and Tigers, because they were talking about all the ball players going to war.
All right.
Yep.
Use your head. That's that lump that's 3 feet above our ass, right, Jimmy? Some more prominent than others, Doris. Which one's this one? Sit here. I'll see if I can do. Oh, this is John Lovitz on the train, and the guy's talking to him about his business, and he's like, "If I had your job, I'd kill myself." Sit here. I'll see if I can go dig up a pistol. Here's the kissing scene in the bus. By the way, I loved you, the Wizard of Oz. That leads to a scene later that makes me laugh too. It's right before Betty Spaghetti finds out about her husband. He walks in and he slaps her in the ass, and he's like, "Miss Cuthbert, you sexy stack of pancakes, you."
Well, that's an extra special glimpse into her life.
That's
from
the
John Lovett's character, and the father's explaining. Or no, that's Dottie.
But she says she's a pitcher. She just didn't pitch today because she pitched yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
Number 10's yours, Mike.
Avoid the clap. Jimmy Dugan.
It's good advice.
Two kids run up to Jimmy Dugan looking for an autograph. Mr. Dugan, will you sign my baseball? He says, sure. He signs it. It's like, wow.
And I think, like it says here, why it's one of the best quotes. It's because him yelling to the kids afterwards, "That's good advice," is just as funny as the line itself. Was that you or the umpire? Oh, that's
Dottie talking to Kid about her
talking to his sister. And she's like, I believe you were the one who told me to get my fat ass back behind the plate. Was that you or the umpire? Who wants to do the peeing scene?
Boy, that's some good peeing. That's May. All the way May. Talking about the 2-minute pee scene.
Time it.
That still counts.
That still counts. Yeah, when he stops and goes against it, that counts. Here's the one I just talked about in the summary. Who's Lou?
Who's Lou? I have a coworker. Couldn't remember his name for the life of me. Right? Called him. I mean, we all go by last names. When it came to first names, I couldn't remember. I introduced my wife to him as Lou. Because I just that's the name is like, who's Lou? And now I call him Lou, and he calls
who's Lou? I like when Miss Cuthbert walks on the bus to tell the girls that he quit. She's like, "Mr. Piscatelli shan't be returning." This is May in the confessional booth. Why don't you take that one, Mike?
Oh yeah, when the bubble drops twice.
That's the second time he dropped the Bible since he's been in there.
That and Madonna had a lot in common.
This is the one. Oh, this one's seen here. Yeah, I don't know if this is that great a quote. It's when Doris is showing the picture of her boyfriend. And one of the Betty goes, "Is the picture out of focus?" And she goes, "No, that's just how he looks." I mean, look, there's a lot of us. I think we're all right. It's kind of like her
justifying that being a part of the baseball, playing baseball isn't weird.
This is the one that I'm doing because I love this one. This is my favorite quote in the film. The umpire comes over to see what's happening with the commotion in front of the dugout, and the umpire says, "What's the matter, Jimmy?" "She's crying, sir." "I didn't mean to do that." "Perhaps you chastise her too vehemently. Good rule of thumb. Treat each of these girls as you would treat your mother. Did anyone ever tell you look like a penis with a little hat on?"
You're right here.
That was my favorite line. See how it works is the train moves, not the station.
He had a very Groucho, delivery. A
Mhm.
lot of his lines.
So sarcastic and like it's funny because he's sarcastic and rude, but you like him anyway. Like that's kind of the deal.
You know
Here's
who
the
should?
great. Go ahead, Mike.
You know who you should have recast as that?
Who?
Jack Black.
Jack Black as the John Lovitz character.
Yeah.
Lewis Black.
Lewis Black. A little old. The great.
Have you seen Jack Black lately?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in the Minecraft movie.
It's like
Steve.
Zero, right?
We're still going to see that, right, guys?
Oh yeah. I want to throw shit at the theater like the kids are doing right now. Here's the monologue I said is one of the greatest ones in the film. Baseball is what gets inside you. It's what lights you up. You can't deny it. It just got too hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. Hard is what makes it great. And then the last one, Mike, take that last one for me.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying. There's no crying.
I like this part.
Jimmy,
How you zip it, Doris? Roger Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking big shit. And that was when my parents drove all the way down from Michigan to see me play the game. And did I cry? No. And you know why?
There's no crying in baseball.
No.
There's no crying in baseball. No crying. I think that's the only choice for the top choice. It's the most iconic line in the film. Next thing I hear is some taglines from the movie. These are terrible. So the first tagline is "There's no crying in baseball." All right, fine. You're quoting the film. That's fine. To achieve the incredible, you have to attempt the impossible. Another one of those taglines. It could be a number of different movies.
Yep, miracle.
This summer, Tom Hanks and the Rockford Peaches proved that a woman's place is at home, first, second, and third.
That one's not bad.
They tried with that one.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime, you get a chance to do something different. That sounds like something you'd find written on like a plaque in some woman's kitchen.
Yeah. Or on
And
one
the
of
last
those posters with a kitten hanging from a branch.
Yeah.
They're motivational posters.
Yeah. Once in a lifetime, you get a chance to do something different. Yeah. And then a woman's place is on home, first, second, and that one's a little better than the other one. It's less wordy. Finally here. What is your favorite scene in the film? I didn't put it on the list, but I think we should ask that. I already said like my favorite is probably any scene that John Lovitz is in. So what would be yours?
I think it's the montage. I'm going to go with the montage where they're getting better and Jimmy's coming out of his drunken stupor, And I think the one scene from that stands out is all the girls are praying in church and they got their rosaries. And he goes, "Come on. God knows we have a game," And
Or later on when they put their hands in and he's like, "God, I want to thank you for that waitress in South Bend. You know, the one she kept calling your name." Oh, what's the other one? Oh, I like the scene where they're in the dugout and he's trying to give the sign to the Hooch and Gina Davis is doing the sign and they're going back and forth, and she's just going back and forth in the batter's box because you know what to do. Mike, what's yours?
I think it's when they go to pick up Hooch and the girl's like, "Screw you, we're not going if you don't take her with us."
That's a good one too. I like her batting too, and then he's like, "All right, Marla, left-handed," and all the boys are like, "Oh." I gotta find that line about what it's Omar something is the name he says she looks like. Have you ever seen Colonel Omar or something or another? Too strong.
Gaddafi.
That was Gaddafi. Oh God. So I did a recasting for this. Again, I forgot to do John Lovitz's character, but I like the Jack Black one. I like. I thought maybe.
Well, nowadays race doesn't matter, so you could also do Kevin Hart.
Right. Well, I was thinking like Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Another one maybe, or I'm trying to think like maybe like one of the guys that's on like SNL now or something like that. But for the characters I did recast, I did the 6 main ones. I did Dottie, Kit, Jimmy Dugan, May, Doris, and Marla Hooch. I didn't do any of the other girls on the team because just too many of them. So for Dottie Henson, I went with Jessica Chastain. There she is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I went with her because she has the Gina Davis look. I feel like she's
Yeah.
a redhead. She's gorgeous. She's classy. And I feel like she could pull off like the 40s, you know, like pinup look that Gina Davis has in the film.
Yeah.
So
Farm
what do you
girl.
think?
She's
I
got
approve.
Gina Davis. Yeah.
I thought Jessica Chastain was a good choice. I also considered Emily Blunt and Katie. My wife Katie had mentioned Brie Larson as well, which I think were all
Brie
pretty good
Larson might
choices.
work too, yeah.
Yeah, I like Jessica Chastain though. So for Kit, the younger sister, I went with an actress who's kind of like sort of up and coming now. I've seen her in a few films in the last year or so. They're pretty good. She's going to be in season 2 of The Last of Us. Her name is Caitlin Deaver. She's a young actress. She's funny, and she's got like the sassy personality that Laurie Petty had in the film.
Right.
Plus, she kind of resembles Jessica Chastain a little bit. So
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Kit was that she was also a little homely.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I'd have to see.
Well,
that
if you
actress
get
pull
when you
off
see
homely.
when you see the character she plays in The Last of Us, you'll know how homely she can be.
Oh, okay.
Like she's playing the villain in season 2, so
Oh, I see.
you'll see. For Jimmy Dugan, I went with Ted Lasso himself, Jason Sudeikis.
Yes. Perfect.
Comedic
Perfect
actor.
cast. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's really good casting for that. Already played a coach, you know, just a different kind of coach, but I think he can do it. For May Mordevito, I went with what I thought is the obvious modern day comparison. So instead of Madonna, I went with Lady Gaga.
Okay.
I went with Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Mike just wants Scarlett Johansson in the film. My wife's
part.
Yeah, I'm sure she could. My wife, she could do the Gina Davis part too, ScarJo.
Yeah.
She could play Dottie Henson. I was just going with like another big pop star Italian, you know, New York accent kind of person. For Doris, I went a little outside the box on this. I went to SNL, and I casted a modern SNL actress. Her name is Adie Bryant. She's really funny. She's one of the better actresses on SNL right now, and she kind of has the look I feel like would fall in line with the Rosie O'Donnell look.
Yep.
You know who else would have been good for Jimmy Dugan? Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm. Depends on his reputation at the time. I feel like Ryan Reynolds anymore though is too much Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
You know, like Jason Sudeikis at least I think would give it a different spin on the character. Like I also had thought about like
Deadpool Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, like I'd also thought about like Chris Pratt too, but anymore Chris Pratt just feels like Chris Pratt. Like not anything different. And then the last one is Marla Hooch. For Marla Hooch, I went with Beanie Fieldstein, who is a very funny comedic actress and the younger sister of Jonah Hill. And when you see what she looks like, you'll understand why I chose her for Marla Hooch, because the poor girl just looks like the female version of Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Marla Hooch. What a hitter. So I thought I did a pretty good job coming up with those ones. I'm really happy with my Jessica Chastain one. I always am happy to put her in a film. So that is my recast. And last one Oscar. Who gets it?
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. Really? I wasn't expecting that one. Best supporting actor?
Yep.
Marla Hooch.
Marla Hooch. For that singing scene. I'm singing to Nelson. Had to be you.
It had to be.
Yeah, they'll make a big deal about Dottie leaving halfway through. Dottie leaving during the World Series to go be with her husband, but nobody says anything about Marla Hooch getting married halfway through the season and leaving. She's the best hitter on the team. I mean, what a hitter! For me, I was going to say Tom Hanks for Best Supporting Actor, but then again, he has a bunch of Oscars already. Gina Davis, I thought probably could have got it, but ultimately, I decided to give it to Penny Marshall for Best Director.
Yeah,
I think she did an excellent job with it, and she's the first female director to reach like $100 million box office. So good on her. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our deep dive into the 1992 classic, A League of Their Own. Feel free to email us or text us or whatever you might want to do. Tell us your opinion of the film or what you thought about our review of it. And don't forget, you could also give us some suggestions for drinks, for other movies you'd like to hear us cover, for topics you'd like to hear, or if you just want to generally tell us how you feel about the show, you can always contact us. Mike, do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I do have some fun facts for beer still. Minnesota Representative Andrew Volstead championed the Volstead Act as U.S. law enacted in 1919. That took effect on January 17, 1920. Better known as the National Prohibition Act, Volstead's law provided enforcement for the 18th Amendment, which prohibited the manufacture and sale of alcoholic beverages. The 18th Amendment is the only ratified constitutional amendment to later be repealed. Thank God.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a podcast.
Well, we have half a podcast.
Films and milk.
Films and H2O. We have a cinema quote of the week. Speaking of Kevin Hart.
Yes, we do.
Philadelphia's own.
Yeah.
Philly's own Kevin Hart says Hollywood has a way of making everything seem like an overnight success.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many people now. Like, I'll see an actor and actress mentioned on like Instagram on like one of the Hollywood websites or something, and they're like, you know, new star, blah blah. And like, I've never heard of this person, but they're apparently a big star. You know. Mike, I'm curious to know, how was your Jimmy Dugan?
Oh, very good. Very, very good.
It sounded pretty good. Yeah. Well,
Do you think it'll help you avoid the clap?
Drink too many, you might, depends upon where you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Basically,
looking for the clap.
basically it's just a whiskey sour with some grenadine in it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Kev, how we're? I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with a Sam Adams.
No, the Cold Snap was good. I am ready for the summer ale. This was part of the variety summer pack, and they have a new one in there that's a blueberry flavored beer that Megan really likes. So, yeah, you should give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. And I again was drinking the Hefeweizen beer that Mike got me from Antietam Brewery. It is the Hagerweiss Hefeweizen. There's Beanie Feldstein again. Button accent. What a hitter. So thank you again for joining us tonight for episode 190. Deep dive into a look at The League of Their Own from 1992. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording for you. As I already said, you can email us. You can visit us on all our socials. You can text us at the official text line at 904-867-4466. Go to Patreon. Go to our merchandise, whatever you'd like at Teespring. Let us know what you think of the show. Any suggestions you have or comments, whatever. We're here. We're listening to you. Yeah. All right. Thank you again. Don't forget to stop by the Crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around for episode 191. We're going to be looking at soundtracks of the 80s, possibly 1985 or 1986, possibly the whole decade. We have to figure that out. Just know that there's going to be a lot of 80s goodness in that episode. And to avoid copyright infringement, we're probably going to sing every song ourselves. Once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
This has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.